Today we're at the beautiful Tobiano golf course in Kamloops, Canada. And this was my feeling by the end of the round. But the day started promisingly, hitting a few putts on the putting green, and stepping over to the range to hit a few drives before hitting the first tee. And make no mistake, despite there being two sets of tees behind these spur tees, this is about as tough a test of golf as I know of. The day starts well with a good drive, and the second swing of the day is a classic good swing with a bad result. And we have 100 from a steep bunker here. And that's not what we wanted. And just like that, we're trying to get up and down for par on the tough par 5. This approach runs through the green into some thick rough, and this chip still leaves me with about 8 feet. We don't make it, and just like that, the day is started with a double. One of the few gimme holes at Tobiano, the short par 4 second should leave you a short number in. I hit mine a bit offline, and this is playing about 20 yards uphill. I'm lucky that it gets to the green. This long putt isn't fantastic, but we do tidy up from about 4 feet for par.
He's not a scratch golfer, I promise.
Khalid is going to remind us a few times today that we're not a scratch golfer. And here something's going on between the ears, because I hit an absolutely brutal shot off the tee, and then chunk a chip coming uphill, before rolling another chip out to about 6 feet. Yeah, it's another double bogey. We talk a lot on the channel about staying in it psychologically after a bad stretch of holes. And I usually practice what I preach, but I'm just going to confess that today I mentally unraveled as a result of the hole we're watching now. It all adds up to a triple bogey, and 7 over through 4 is probably not a score we're going to recover from. But that's okay. We are going to enjoy the rest of the day at Tobiano, and a few days later when we break 80, it feels all the more special. With that behind me, I swing freely on the 5th tee and hit my best shot of the day so far. I follow it up with a really bad approach shot. This pitch is also pretty unremarkable, and we'll have about 30 or 35 feet coming up the hill here. And you'll see that I do not have a good gauge of speed on these greens. And we'll add one more double to the tab. Do not adjust your television screen. We did indeed hit a 10-minute flash hailstorm on the 6th tee, and I more or less topped my tee shot before hitting a good forward that gets caught in some thick rough. And here's just another bad shot for the tally, missing the green from 50 yards. We do hit a good chip here and manage to get up and down for bogey, which is actually a relief given the start we've had so far. I've hit everything from wedge to hybrid in on the forced carry par 3 7th hole. Today it's just a smooth 7-iron, but because I'm not playing golf that well today, it doesn't make it to the green. The chip is also not fantastic, and from about 8 feet, we don't even flirt with the hole and make one more bogey. But looking back at the green and the sprawling vista of Tobiano, there are still things to be grateful for.
Wow! Perfect. Whoa!
A smooth drive always follows up those positive feelings. And now Alex is guiding me over this shot. It's probably the tightest shot on the course, and I decide to top it all of about 50 yards. Now I'm just hacking my way out of a tree back onto the fairway. And a long blind 4th shot into this par 5 means hopefully we can get it near the green and make bogey. Instead, we almost hole out the par chip. But wow, double bogeys abound today. 13 over through 8 holes. The new goal is adjusted to break 50 on the front. And we hit consecutive good shots, and for the first time all day we have a putter in hand for birdie, albeit from the fringe. The lag putt isn't good, but for the first time today we drop a putt. And how do we even recap this? No greens in regulation. 15 atrocious shots that cost us strokes. 16 putts. We drove the ball okay, so we'll try to take that into the back 9. And indeed, we do hit a good drive on 10. And with a 4-wood in hand, for the second time in as many holes, we've hit consecutive good golf shots. 100 in is my favorite number. And we're finally putting for birdie, and certainly do not intend to leave it short. And we're thrilled to finally tap in for par.
Nice drive.
Here's another fabled good swing with a bad result. We're in a very treacherous bunker here, and I thought I was hopping bunker to bunker with the approach, but I'm lucky that it's short in the rough. I hit a pretty decent chip that will give me a look at salvaging par, but this one doesn't quite want to break towards the water, and we're okay with bogey. This is the purest iron strike I hit of the day. It does start turning over, but not quite enough to get close. But nonetheless, we have about 25 feet for birdie here, and it almost drops, and we're okay with a 3. The 13th hole is a par 5 that just requires good shots everywhere. The tee shot here is good, and the direct line to the pin over the hazard is 240, so I opt to lay up to 100. And this frisky one ends up on the back of the green, but at least we're putting for birdie again, this time from about 30 feet down the hill, and we hit a very good putt, and it's just another 2-putt par. So this is fun. Downhill, downwind, speed slot in the middle of the fairway, and boom, it's the longest drive of my life. Determined not to chunk a wedge after that effort, I decide to bump and run a 7-iron, and I underread the fairway break a little bit, but at least we're pin high putting for birdie. And once again we almost drop one. And finally we're on a par train. On 15 we hit another green in regulation. And I'll stop for just a second and talk about how stunning the views are at Tobiano. It's like if there was a beautiful lush golf course smack in the middle of Tatooine. It's a surreal experience being here, and I encourage you to come and check it out. And hopefully with that sales pitch, I distracted you from this 3-putt bogey. On the downhill par 5, anything in the fairway allows you to go for the green in 2. But find a bunker, and you've got another story on your hands. After wedging out here, I still have a big number in, and I put good contact on this 5 hybrid, but it's just a bit of a push into a greenside bunker. It's another very steep bunker lip, and I was actually thrilled to get up here and see that I had about 12 feet for par. But we miss it, and the par 5s continue to give us trouble today. What also gives us trouble today is shots like this.
Did we press this hole or what?
No, we didn't. Well, if you can't find it, I'll give you a drop zone like up there.
I found it, but maybe I wish I hadn't. I stuck it into about a foot of thick rough,
Look out of the way,
and
Adam.
getting it to 15 feet alone was, I guess, an accomplishment. But we're in store for another double bogey. 18 is a great finishing hole, and I sort of do what I did for a lot of the day here, which is hit an okay drive into a spot where I just can't get there. With the ball above my feet, this hybrid winds up short in the bunker. And this was a good shot that gives me a look at par,
Stay up.
but I knew right away that that one wasn't close. And just one more bogey to close out the round. So there it is. I did a poll on my community tab to ask you guys which of my Okanagan rounds you'd like to see, with scores ranging from 76 to 91. You asked for the 91. There it is, warts and all. Not really and all, just straight up warts, really. And I hope you enjoyed it, because I still managed to have a great day at this beautiful golf course.